boy. Shuba-duba-dai. This blessed country, oh land of beauty, I pray for thee. Some people have that wrong philosophy that politicians can save a country. They never try and do it spiritually. And now this system exploding on we. The country in a recession, a big change from the old time religion. Mankind rewriting history in a modern but a bad version. We living in our final days. Take a look and change your ways. Our beautiful country, going back to slavery days, only a prayer for the land can stop drug violence and crime. A prayer for the land, yes, these are the signs of the end of time. A prayer for the land, the price of living, man, is so high. A prayer for the land, that even the rich like the poor cry. You say you're concerned and care, we country living in fear, but all are we born right here. So let's say a prayer, the Almighty Father will hear. And I say,
share the Lord, share the Lord.
Shuba-duba-dai. Oh God Almighty, show some mercy on this our country. My world standard gone way down the drain. The little children using rum, crack and cocaine. It seems like wicked-itions gone insane. Everyone playing the dirty game. Too much guns and drugs in the country, owned by Tom, Dick and Harry. But if you're wrong, you must pay for it. For the law, no one above it. Put an end to victimization, oppression and segregation. It's not a good thing for this country, so let's try and wipe it out totally with a prayer for the land. Of fire and brimstone go burn with it. A prayer for the land. Some say they picking out who should get paid. A prayer for the land, and that's why the prisoners burn down the jail. A prayer for the land. One day it must prevail. Please don't let this country become an next Haiti. No peace, no unity. Bow down humbly, the Almighty will answer it. Oh yeah, Dee-dum-ba-dum-boy, Shuba-duba-dai.
Share the Lord, share the Lord.
Oh God Almighty, show some mercy on this our country. They now call we terror Paradise Island. No longer a country where peace abound. Yes, I used to boast about my land of beauty, the freest nation with democracy. But now we are the capital for drug pushers and money launderers. Shame and scandal is on we, take it state and it's universally. Some blame it on the politicians for the unstabilized conditions. We going from bad to worse, Our blessed country now close, but a prayer for the land will help us to live with other people. A prayer for the land, for that's why the nation in big trouble. A prayer for the land, united we stand, divided we fall. A prayer for the land, citizens answer your duty call. Righteousness exalts a nation. The most I hate poor man depression. So I'm calling on everyone to take a stand. Take it, listen to my song. Did a bad over boy, shuba duba die. What? This blessed country, oh land of beauty, I pray for thee.
The sounds of the mighty Quig. I pray for the land. I pray for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. We definitely need it at this time. I want to big up my boy there, the man Curtis Cook. Had a good chat with Curtis earlier today. And he definitely has a prayer for the land for the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Brother Cook and the man there, the AG, the Attorney General. I understand at this time he should be wrapping up a meeting there in the Sister Island Nevis. So good evening, Brother AG. Hope all is well. I'm waiting for the update from that meeting from you. As usual, I'm going to just drop a quick ad here, letting the folks know what this program is all about, and give you a chance to basically give your input via the thread. Feel free to have your conversation. Let me know how you feel about the situation. So take a listen to what the program is all about this evening.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishall's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Log on.
Yes, thanks for that ad there. Let the folks know that we encourage you to log on to YouTube, find the DJ Marisha channel, subscribe, and hit that bell. Let's try and build the numbers up as we are looking forward to transforming over to YouTube. The Facebook Live has done a great deal, have done its purpose, and we are looking into transforming over to the YouTube channel. So just go ahead, log on to YouTube, find the DJ Marisha channel, and just subscribe and hit that bell. In the meantime, in between time, we're going to take a look below the surface before we get onto the drive. You know, the drive is from 6 to 8 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. We are just about 4 minutes before the 6 o'clock hour. So we're going to drop the Brother Mystic Paula here. Brother Paula will take you beneath the service and try to educate you and what life is about in our world. The Mystic Paula, share it live, share it live.
Sometimes I just get angry when I see somebody watch an ex-man achievement and declare that that was easy. They don't see all the struggle and all the failure. They quickly form allegiance to toast the winner. But in this life there's a truth, and every tree you see have a root, and it's from way below the surface you bring up your fruit. Now Thomas Edison, the light bulb inventor, his 2,000 times he failed before the bulb could light. And when he reached age 67, a fire cost him 2 million. That's when the studio burned to the ground one December night. But he stood strong, faithful to his craft, and 3 weeks later released his first phonograph. You see, he had the stuff great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. I say he had the stuff great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Okay,
To the Lord, to the Lord.
They say that pressure, it does make diamonds out of rock. And it's the same with the human character. When our dreams are dumbstruck in a jail, two men looking out through the same bars. One will fail, cause he see mud while the other sees stars. You see, while pressure humbles the meek, it strengthens who earnestly seek. It's the barometer that measures the strong and the weak. Because Martin Luther and South Africa Nelson Mandela, the darkness in their jail cell couldn't dim their lights. And civil rights advocacies only fuel more energies. For the more injustice rages, the more they fight. And for 27 years, Nelson Mandela suffered, and from jail became president of South Africa. You see, Nelson had the stuff that great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Potential, I say he had the stuff that great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface.
This is Caribbean Vibes. This is Caribbean Vibes.
Check any success story, take anyone you wish, and you'll see the road is often littered with blocks and rubbish. But as you clear one hurdle, you will meet another. And as you lift one burden, you'll hit an next gutter. You see, while your progress is slow, your determination must grow. Just affirm and confess the success you already know. Don't you know Elvis Presley was fired by Jimmy Denny? After just one show, he was told, go back and drive truck. And the great Beethoven of music, imagine he was deaf at 46, but that's when he produced his his greatest musical stuff. And the great Caruso stood firm by his choice. Although his teacher told him you can sing and you have no voice, but he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Oh, he had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. Yes, Shani. As a nation, we will do well to train our young, not to adopt a luck and chance approach or a gaming disposition. For they will dream of easy money and sweet tomorrow from a get-rich scheme with a 1 in 100,000 ratio. We need to teach foundations of truth, trees that send down good roots, not parasites that sucks at little gut fruits. Don't you know, Basdale Pandey walked so many miles barefoot to school, land in England with $6 to take his luck horse. And after Napoleon Airman Robinson, imagine he was shot and in prison, half blind and dying. He said attack, attack, attack with full force. For such men with belly, leadership was meant. No wonder they're prime minister and president. You see, they had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface. I say they had the stuff. Great men are made of. It's the stuff you could miss unless you look below the surface.
Mr. Paula, gotta check beneath the surface. That's really good thing, sir. The yard man stand there and blow it out. Nice, the Mystic Paula there letting you know you got to check beneath the surface. Don't judge someone just by looking at the clothes they wear. Some of them dress up real nice and there's nothing beneath that surface. You know, they need a lot of cleansing. You need to cleanse them. The ministers and all, not just the politicians. You got to clean them up. Got to check them beneath the surface. Well, this evening we're going to have a continuation from my conversation last week with the gentleman, the honorable gentleman, the man there, Brother Benter, and I'm happy that he's online early. But as soon as I introduce Brother Benter, we're going to go straight into Dwyer's commentary and hit the conversation. We're going to hit the road running. Brother Benter, hit your screen, open your mic. Good evening, how are you doing? Your mic is still closed. Tap your iPad there and tap the icon, the mic, the red mic icon. Correct, gotcha.
Good evening, Brother Jeffrey. Good evening to the listening audience as well. Happy to be with you again.
Yeah, man. Nice. As I have said to many of my guests, you might think you were here last Wednesday, so not everybody know who you are, but every week there is new folks coming online. The news is spreading like wildfire, and folks are coming to get their information of interest. So if you could just give a quick synopsis of who is Mr. Benter, and we'll get right into it.
Sure. Good evening again. My name is Oakland Benter, an ex-senator in the U.S. Virgin Islands, an ex-police chief, and an ex-vice president of a telecommunication corporation, of which we pretty much own banks, TV stations, cellular companies, newspapers, and we were just one of those things that had our own TV station as well. So It enabled me to travel boldly throughout the world, Europe, Asia, Caribbean, America, North and South America, into South Korea as well, China, Japan. And with that, it enabled me to meet with sheiks, presidents, duchess, kings, queens, and pretty much the holistic political arena of the world, to include the World Great Reset Forum, which is held in Switzerland just about every other quarter of the year. So with that, it enabled the opportunity to meet with, understand the dynamics of the World Reset, Great Reset, and where we should be as a community, as a territory, as a geofencing community that we all in the Caribbean, to understand what it entails for all of us.
Okay, so nice. So, Brother Benta, to kick the conversation off, right, we're going to start off with Brother Dwyer's commentary for today. But I also want the viewing audience to know that we're going to pick up where we left off last week from the CARICOM, the free movement in CARICOM that is on the table. I don't think much transpired since last week when we met, though there was supposed to be a meeting on Friday last week, the 15th. I don't think much have changed, but what I can say to the people, I'm still of the view that our Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Joe, have not signed any document to get this thing going by the end of March, as has been circulated in some of the news out there. So I could put the folks in our lovely Federation mind at rest that there's still some conversation going on there. So let's take a quick listen to the Honorable J.A. Dwyer Astafan commentaries for today.
Greetings. Regardless of how visionary and talented the leaders of a country may be, and no matter how brilliant their programs and policies may be, they, as an administration, will not be as successful as they can be, nowhere near as successful as they can be, unless they are operating with a public service which is efficient, professional, and operates with integrity. For a public service to perform at an acceptable level of efficiency, professionalism, and integrity, it needs to be administered and directed without being politically or otherwise compromised. Yes, it needs to work with the policymakers who are elected in a democratic process to govern the country, but it needs also, and importantly, to be a separate entity rather than being an extension of the political party in power. Let us look at South Africa, a country which has had and is still having problems, but they made a very good move. They inserted not just into their law, but more deeply into their constitution, provisions which state that public servants are not to be favored or prejudiced because they support a political party or cause. And South Africa wants its public servants to be employed on merit, not on political or personal favor or patronage. South Africa is the second largest economy after Nigeria on the African continent, and it has learned the hard way about the disadvantage and loss to its economy and society when politics dominates the makeup and operations of the public service. Singapore, one of the best run nations in the world, the size of St. Lucia. In that country, the public service prides itself and operates on integrity in the spirit of and with a passion for service and excellence, and on the commitment to make Singapore a better place today and tomorrow. In even smaller St. Kitts and Nevis, up to the 1970s, the public service in Bastille contained some persons in key positions who were known not to be supporters of Premier Bradshaw and his administration and his party. Nevertheless, these were professional people and they operated accordingly. And the major improvements that came to this country during the 1960s and 70s were to a significant degree attributable to the fact that we had a political directorate which was very proactive in developing the country towards independence, partnered by a public service which was far more professional and independent than any that we've seen since in this country. Yes, over the past 45 years or so, we've seen a decline in professionalism, aided and abetted by an increasing political presence in the public service. Many public servants' loyalties are not to the independence, professionalism, and integrity of the public service, or to excellence, as is the case in Singapore. Most of them are loyal to a politician or a party. They do not operate as a serious and separate organization in the country. Why is their loyalty to the politician and not to the organization? And to the need to preserve the integrity of the separation between the public service and partisan politics? The answer is that many of these folks get their jobs because of politics and personal connections, sadly not because of merit. And in a number of cases, jobs are created in the public service to provide a paycheck, to put someone in a job without regular performance assessments being done, to ensure that high standards are maintained and that people are kept on their toes and are deserving of the taxpayers' money coming to them every month or 2 weeks, as the case may be. Many of them get into the public service for these and other reasons. For example, to get a free pension. But the last thing on their minds is dedication, performance, and a sense of belonging to an extremely serious and critical national organization. The spirit and approach of Singapore is far from what we have here. So at the very outset, a lot of these jobs are given not to help the country, but to put money in the pockets of friends and supporters, and to take pressure off politicians or keep politicians in favor with their supporters. But the operations of the government suffer and the people of the country suffer as a result. Because it is your money, it is your public service. And all of this puts an unnecessary burden on the public payroll, which is on you. It puts people in spaces where they do not belong, in spaces which probably should not exist at all. Spaces where they do not, and let's be candid, are not expected to perform satisfactorily, and spaces in which, quite obviously, they do not earn their keep. And who is going to discipline them? A public service commission, which is made up of political cronies and friends? I don't think so. And all of this adds to the cost of running the country, and at the same time makes the public service less effective and more dysfunctional. And it has us, the people, paying more for public services. Paying more. You expect if you pay more, you're supposed to get something better. But we are paying more, and what we are getting is worse. Certainly no better. I don't have the exact figure, but I am told that there are over 7,000, maybe as many as 8,000 people, including step workers, who are on the public payroll, which is close to $25 million a month, or $300 million a year, or over $800,000 a day. And the number of persons on the public payroll and the size of the payroll have been astronomically high for years, not going down, as successive administrators have demonstrably failed to provide sufficient economic and social development opportunities, which will create more business and more jobs in the private sector. And not just more business and more jobs, but good business and good jobs. And these politicians who over the years have beaten their chests and boasted of how much they can and will do for the country have, as I just said, demonstrated their failure to get that first step of success achieved. And that first step is ensuring that the public service is professional, efficient, and operated cost effectively. Why do the rules of economics apply to everything else but the public service? That is the cornerstone of government programs. If the cornerstone is weak, then you know what will happen. So we've seen over the decades a massive failure, and a country whose public service is little more than a job subsidization program and a menial tool of the governing party, that country is either a disaster or a coming disaster. We cannot afford this. We cannot afford bad governance. And let me remind ourselves again and again, if we have to, that good governance is not just about filing declarations to the Integrity Commission and stuff like that. It is also about creating the environment for robust and sustainable economic and social development in the country. It is about putting and keeping ourselves in a good spot as a nation. Let's look at some specifics. No offense meant to anybody. There are persons in the public service who go to work late, leave early for a bite to eat or a lime, go for long lunches, and start to cruise for closing about an hour before closing. They do little or nothing to justify receiving your money every fortnight or every month. There are others who show up when they like, and they too are getting your money. And there are some who pretty much don't show up at all. They too are getting your money. Most of them cannot be disciplined. And they will tell their supervisors that their government is in power. And they will tell their supervisors who put them there. This is not new. It's been going on for a long time. But it is going on. And there are some who, perhaps not seen by decision makers to be of the right political or other persuasion, are assigned to positions where they are given no work at all, sidelined. But they too receive their paycheck every 2 to 4 weeks. Do you pay people who don't work for you? Should you pay people who don't work for you? Should you support jobs that are not productive and are not in your interest? These are simple questions, and I think the answers are simple. In fact, very clear. What about those who are so unprofessional and disrespectful towards members of the public who rely on their services? A gentleman recently questioned the term civil service. He said that it is neither civil nor is it a service. He said some of these folks act as if they're doing you, a member of the public, whose money pays their salaries, puts food on their tables, roofs on their heads, and clothes on their backs and their children's backs. They act as if they are doing you a favor. What about when you try to contact an officer and you're told that he or she is out of office and that nobody else can deal with your matter, as if the public service is a bar shop? And they tell you, you have to check back next Thursday. You have to? Or shouldn't they say, sorry sir, sorry miss, Mr. X or Miss Y is not in today or this week. Can I take your number and you can probably check them next week, or I will leave a message. Something nice and courteous so the person can go away from the conversation feeling good and feeling well treated and feeling that his or her tax money is being properly used in terms of public servants. What about the politicians themselves who come to your gate to beg you to vote for them? But after they win, you have to beg somebody to see them. Politicians who get elected and become ministers, a lot seem not to understand that the stepping stone to the minister position is the election to parliament. And your first job is that of a parliamentarian, not that you regard the ministry as an inferior or second fiddle mandate. You have to keep contact with the people. That's part of your service mandate. And I can go on and on and on, but I think you get the point. And I hope that the good doctor, who is our present Prime Minister, will realize that the public service in this country is in the intensive care unit, which, as we know at JNF at least, is very near to the morgue. A public service that is not built and does not operate on a foundation of efficiency, professionalism, and integrity. One which has so many people on the payroll because of political favor rather than public good is not only bad for the country, but it is bad for itself too, because it makes itself weaker and less effective as an integral entity in national development. Here's an example of this. The Constitution of our Federation allows for the Governor General, acting on the advice of the Prime Minister, to appoint from a representative body, which would be the Public Service Association or Union, to appoint somebody from that body to the Public Service Commission. This is a constitutionally established opportunity and right for the public service to come together as a serious organization and to have a seat on the Public Service Commission, to have a voice in the affairs of the public service, a more meaningful voice. But there's no Public Service Association, no Public Service Union. It seems like we like to make ourselves weaker. Workers generally don't want to join a union. Weaker and divided. I'm not loyal to the Public Service Association. I'm loyal to that politician or this one. And you get weaker as a result. Those who are not excessively loyal to a politician, and I'm not saying you must not have your support and love and so forth. Sure, all that is good. But those who are not excessively loyal, a lot of them are well-meaning, but they simply cannot be bothered with the drama, and they're fed up with it. Now, let me be clear. I'm not attacking anybody. There are many very efficient and professional persons in the public service, but there aren't enough of them. There are many whose customer service skills and attitude are of a very high standard, but there are not enough of them. And I want to encourage those who are not to try to improve. And I want to encourage the powers that be to ensure that improvement takes place. All of you are public servants. I've heard talk about improvements of the public service, but I want to see action. The country needs it. We want to be an efficient little country, and we cannot be an efficient little country without an efficient and professional public service. It cannot happen. I want to encourage the politicians to break the toxic trend of using the public service as an extension of their party. I urge them to encourage the public service members to be professional and to respect their right to be a separate entity, not to interfere and interpose. I urge politicians to craft and implement policies and programs which will attract and motivate more persons in the public service and in the country generally to join the private sector and to act fast. 8,000 people on a payroll of $25 million a month, or $300 million a year, or $800,000 plus a day, all paid for by taxpayers, is not a good thing for this country. It is an albatross around our necks, a shackle around our hands and feet, and without a doubt, an insurmountable obstacle to real and sustained progress and prosperity. We have to get this right, and we don't have any more time. Other areas are closing in on us. If we are to build a new economy and a new society with all of these challenges coming to us, we have to meet the challenges, and politicians have to realize that they may lose some political points in the process in the short term, but the country will be grateful to them in the long term. Do not just look at your political career as a every 5-year cycle, then you move. Do some long-term planning and thinking and acting for the people of the country. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Brother Benta, tap your screen, open your mic there. Let me say good evening to a few folks here online. Kathleen Blanchett, Sandra Thompson, Brother Livingston Brown, I'm sorry. Welcome to the ride. I know you're always here, my brother. Petrona Ballet, Jetty Taylor, Tamika Salid, Iona Doe, Dave Livingston, then Phil Edmead, Gigi Williams Heath, Delicious Nicholas Brown, welcome. Brother Luther Kelly, welcome home, my brother. Glad you got back home safely. Brother P. Eustace Hendrickson, Janet Well, welcome to the ride. The man Romello Jeffers, how are you doing? Welcome to the ride. Curtis Cook, good evening, sir. Welcome. Avril Dickinson, Hazel Clarkson, good evening, sister. Patricia Hazel, welcome to the ride. Mona Davis, Deacon Oral Jeffers, welcome to the ride, my brother. Veronica Roberts, welcome to the ride. Elvis Williams, aka the King Freddy, welcome. Gemini Nisbet, Angela Weeks, welcome to the ride. Hilla Brown, Annette Morton, welcome to the ride. Olivia David, Linda Clark, welcome to the ride. Romeo Paris, how are you doing, my brother? Hope all is well. Lorette Wharton, welcome to the ride. Tara Liebert. Brother Jeff Pemberton, it appears that you make it to the UK safely. Welcome to the ride. Evan Jeffords, Thaddeus Deposaur, welcome to the ride. Neville McIntosh, Beverly Marish, good evening. How are you doing? How is my baby girl with Sister Gwyneth? Hope all is well. Well, brother Benta, I am laughing. I am laughing because over the last, from 2020, from December 12, 2022, we have had some issues with the electoral process and St. Kitts Nevis. As a matter of fact, one of the Labour parties complained going into the general election of August 5th, 2022, was the electoral office and the status of it there. And that was a well-fought case, and we was able to overcome some of the the bricks that was put before us to climb over. Now, the Nevis end of it, their local election was on December 12th, 2022. And the confusion, in my view, still have not settled there on the ground of Nevis. And to every person from the St. Kitts end that I bring on this platform, whether it's the Prime Minister, whether it's the Minister of Sport, whether it's the Minister of Public Works, whether it's the Attorney General, we have some online viewers here that comments about fixing the electoral office, getting things done on Nevis. And maybe about 3 weeks ago, the Attorney General was here and there was a lot of pebbles being thrown at him about getting the electoral office straightened up on Nevis. Now, based on a conversation I had with the AG, I told him we had a very successful conversation here. When you get an opportunity, go and check the thread and, see what can be addressed from what the people of Nevis are asking. Now, I do not know if those comments on the thread towards the AG was coming from diasporas or folks there locally on the island of Nevis. But I just messaged the AG because out of that conversation, he set up 2 consultation meetings. One on Nevis was today from 4 to 6 p.m. over there at the Solomon Arcade in Charlestown. And there's one tomorrow here in Bastia at the government headquarters on Church Street. So I messaged the AG and I said, good afternoon, good evening, Honorable AG. Please give me an update on the turnout at the meeting on Nevis. He says, good. Had 7 persons, various matters discussed, no electoral office issues raised. Let me repeat that. The Nevis Island, the members of the opposition, many folks on Nevis complain about the electoral office and issues that need to be addressed. The Attorney General of our federal cabinet took the time to go across to Nevis. 7 people showed up. I'm pretty sure you got an idea of the population of Nevis. More than 10,000 people live on Nevis. But only 7 persons took the time out to go across to this meeting to have a conversation with the AG. Now, why should I waste my time? Fight a war for people who have no interest in their own thing. That's not bad, That's not bad. There is 2 opposition in Nevis. There is a green team and there is an independent. And I specifically asked the AG if any of those candidates show up from the green team. Did anyone show up from the NRP to address issues on Nevis or to raise concerns about the electoral office? And the answer is no. So why should I waste my time with these people? For Univisions in the diaspora that is calling my phone day in, day out, asking me not to give up on NRP. NRP already give up on themselves. What kind of opposition are they that the Attorney General took the time out and come across to Nevis from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. today, Wednesday, 20th of March, and not even the leader of the NRP showed up to have a conversation with the AG, and then you all want to come here, come chat nonsense to the DJ? Well, anyone that you come here with any bullshit, they're going to light you all ass up as usual. Or you should not DJ Marisha. I give you all a long rope. But when you all screw up, I'm going to let you all know where it's at. The AG said he will schedule another meeting across there at some time. But I am calling on you, the people of Nevis. You all need to make it known to your politicians them over there. You all called for a constitution in 1983 to run your own affairs on Nevis. And in that regard, you was able to form your local Nevis Island Administration, the NIA, which currently is under the leadership of Premier Brantley. So I'm going to call out my good friends again across their Nevis, because they pound the pavement on a Thursday evening Carlisle Powell, Kelvin Daly, my good partner Tulu. You all pound the pavement blaming everybody for everything else. I would like you all to find out from your leadership, from your NRP candidate, why nobody attend that meeting today. Brother Daly, you come and target on a Saturday. You, Tulu, and Hensley Daniel, talking a lot of things, blaming everybody else. I want you all to ask your green team, why nobody attend this meeting? Are you all really serious about representing the people of Nevis, the good people of Nevis? Or you guys just talk to hear yourself? And Mr. Benter, these are the things that I really have a problem with, you know. I don't have an issue with folks calling out a government or talking the things the way they are. But if you yourself not making the effort to do better, whether in opposition or otherwise, who are you? Who give you that right to question somebody who's trying their best? You have been in the position as a senator in the Virgin Islands. You have been chief of police of the Virgin Islands, amongst other things. I'm going to give you an opportunity. Maybe you can educate our people here in St. Kitts Nevis. Maybe Marisha don't have the knack to tell them. I could tell them about the lazy ass. You might have better words for them. So, your input.
Thank you. Sure. One of the things that we know for sure is that fear becomes a factor in a lot of people's homes. That I listened to Mr. Dwyer as he was explaining some of the positions that many people find themselves in, and many sits back. Only during crisis they react or respond or suggest or even take a stand. And moreover, most of the people who find themselves in these positions, because they figure it's not going to get anywhere, they say, well, I don't need to participate because this is just more talking and no action whatsoever. However, if there was an opposition and they found the strength to oppose, the members who have listed themselves with the opposition party or any other parties, they should be more than interested to even listen, even if they don't comment on what's being said in a forum. Be present. When you're not there, you ask a question, what happened? And then sometimes, you tell a story to one person, by the time you tell 100 people, when it comes back to the originator of the conversation, everything is all screwed up, totally misconceived based on what was said originally. So for the people though, many of the times where many others who would fight for you, they will go the distance in standing up and saying enough is enough on your behalf. And in doing that, while they take an opposition to the insurrection in some instances, or the mistreatment, the malice aforethought of some people that some people may have against you, you find yourself sitting back and allowing it to continue. But with a voice though, by standing up in an affirmative position and being affirmed to understand that you have a say, it enables you boldly, when the time comes, to say, well, I was a part of the change. I was a part of the decision to correct the vexing issues of my country. But when you don't say anything or participate in the forums that's required or exist that enables you to have a voice, those voices travel and transcend through the media. The media will report, people will hear the different diaspora of many of where our families live. And in some instances, many of the commentators and some instances are people who don't even live on the island anymore. They make a lot of noise about what's going on in one way, but they're not there to actually face the music and be part of the populace to correct the vexing issues. And that sometimes sends out the wrong echo. And the wrong echo that goes out in the world will say that the people, in some instances, are not attributed to solving the problem. The other thing is, as Mr. Dwyer was explaining, where even though they spoke of their firm of those who are employed by the administration and sit in a position where they think they don't have to report to anyone, there are those individuals who are afraid to stand up against the administration, and in some instances compound their lives and their families' foundation based on where they live, and what the retaliations in some instances may be. It will be one of many: termination of employment, hardship in the services that the public service should be providing to each citizen respectively, and they then turn a blind eye to the fact that they have a voice. So how do we fix that? And I know that it's going to be one of those hard, challenging roads, and it's one of those things where you have been in forums where they've been in numbers during the campaign. You've seen the numbers where people show up in opposition with strong voices. They stand in allegiance and an alliance to affirm that they do not agree with something. But then here comes the time now for them to maintain that segment of delivery or deliverance of the others to the other people, so they understand that there is a voice that they have. They turn cowardly and hide within their bedrooms or under the bed where it doesn't make sense, because your voice has been totally dissipated in the ears and the minds of the people, so no one knows exactly where you stand and where you would love to see your country go. That's where other people come in and take over what you have and become those that governs you, tell you how to sit, stand, or even when to sleep. You've lost your base as an independent country. Yes, you're moving around free in your country, but you don't have a say based on what happens in your country. And that is something that has to change, Mr. Jeffroy. And I think you hit the nail on the head, because it becomes very frustrating when you're the one making the note, but you're speaking out on their behalf consecutively. Time to stand with you now. If somebody threw a stone, you look around and you can't see who threw it. They put the hand down so you don't see. Rather than keeping their hands up when they threw the stone so that you can be counted, so that one would know that it came from you. Nobody wants to be that bold face except you. Same thing going back to the election, Jeffroy. For how many years you've been out there explaining, educating, and bringing information to the people of the nation, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, as to what's going on to enable a change. And here that you have a change moving in the direction that it should, now you have to go to Nevis, apparently, and sell that same message so they can understand that they are, in fact, a significant part of the diaspora of St. Kitts Nevis.
You know what the sad part is, Brother Benter? I have met some people in my life that I have respect for. As a matter of fact, there's a particular fellow online that is making a comment. My good friend Ivor W.A. Henry was a former police officer here in my village, St. Paul's area, when I was a little boy. That keep me in tip-top shape. You had to respect police back then, not like today. Back then, you had to respect the police. And someone who's supposed to be as educated and as sensible as Ivor is acting like a donkey. Because his statement here is, did the federal government give an official invitation to NRP in an official capacity? Which part of that makes sense, Ivor? Which part of that makes sense? There was just a public issue in regards to the Van Sammy Airport, a public consultation at some building wherever on Nevis. It was promoted via social media and otherwise. The leader of the opposition, NRP, Janice Daniel Hodge, was there asking question. Did they send an official invitation? Or they invited the general public? You all have to know when to play your politics, Ivor. This is not politics. This is about getting things correct that you all are complaining about. He goes on to say, I don't know. Is the opposition office funded by the NIA and Nevis? Ivor, all those are conversations that should have taken place at that meeting. These issues that you are bringing to me here, DJ Marisha cannot fix them. DJ Marisha cannot answer them. The Honorable Janice Daniel Hodge and the rest of the NRP should have taken the lazy ass, stop making excuse, and gone to that consultation with the AG and ask whatever question you all want to ask. Whether it's about the electoral office, the opposition office, the senator, the commissioner of integrity, whatever it is. That's where the meeting was supposed to be asked those questions, not on this platform. That's when you come on this platform with these nonsense that are going to curse you all ass out. Because you all are defending a wrong. If you're going to support the NRP, tell them when they're wrong. If you're going to support the CCM, tell them when they're wrong. You're going to support the Labour Party, tell them when they're wrong. You're going to support the People's Action Movement, tell them when they're wrong. You're going to support Timothy Harris and his People's Labour Party, you all have to tell them when they're wrong. Otherwise, what's going to become of our little federation of St. Kitts Nevis? I've cut out your bullshit and put on your common sense, man. Come on, Ivor. Call out Janice when they're wrong. Stop defending bullshit. You know? All of you that want to defend these people, stop defending the bullshit. Because what they're doing now, if and when they get into office, they're going to be doing the same bullshit, and it's going to be worse than what the CCM is doing. How can I defend and support this kind of action and put you in office to do what? The same thing? I cannot do that. I have made it clear to Dr. Drew time and time again before the Labour Party got into office. I am in support of you, Dr. Drew. But I hope you don't go in there and do the same bullshit as the former administration, because I'll be coming at you 10 times harder than I went after Timothy. Come on, man. We have to do better than this. You know? I was doing some investigation this week, Brother Benter, because I don't just come here on a Wednesday night and just talk. I come here with information to try and give our citizens something to think about and for them to really educate me and give me feedback, right? And there was a particular lesson that I learned this week. There was an instructor with a classroom. He had 12 points to deal with. And it was so crafty the way that he did it. He was doing a mathematics, right? And the first 9 answers, he put them correct. And the class sat there quietly, not a murmur would come out of them to say, good job, whatever, or nothing. But the final number 10, he put in the wrong answer, and everybody curses us out in the class. Take a listen. This is our problem we have amongst our people here in St. Kitts and Nevis. You know, serious problem.
Good one. I wrote the last equation wrong on purpose because I wanted you to learn something important. Now, you all witnessed I wrote the correct equation 9 times, but nobody congratulated me on that, did you? But as soon as I made a mistake, you laughed and criticised me. Why do you think that is?
Maybe it's because you're supposed to be smarter than us?
Yeah, and it's funny.
I may be in a position of authority, but does it make me perfect or smarter than you? I'm a teacher, but I'm also a human being who makes mistakes. The point of this exercise today is to teach a very important lesson. You will soon discover the world is quick to criticise and find fault, and much slower to praise and find the positive. You'll all experience criticism many times in your life. Those who are lucky enough to succeed or become quote unquote successful will likely experience more criticism than the rest, because you'll find the one thing people love more than pointing out another's mistakes is when they can do it to someone who's achieved more than them. However, the person who criticises others is only revealing the lack within themselves. Those who are happy within themselves need not point out the faults in others. So the 3 things I want you to remember from today's little exercise is, first, try to notice the good in others. If someone makes a mistake, try to let them know in a kind way. Praise more than you blame. The second is when, not if, but when you're criticised, remember the good in you. Remember your great qualities. Remember you're worthy and capable of great things. And finally, remember criticism is something that you can avoid easily by saying nothing, doing nothing, and being nothing. So dream big. Get out there, live your life. See how far you can push the limits. Don't fear criticism, but know when it comes, it's the result of your success, not your failures.
Yeah, Brother Benter. So that was a lesson for this week. And this is what we are living here in our beloved Federation. People are quick to criticize. Someone just put in the chat there, don't blame Hensley, he's half island. Hensley is half island, fine. I excuse him for that. But what about everybody else on Nevis? There's only 7 persons on Nevis. Even people from the CCM party, only 7 people from Nevis can go to such an important meeting. That's what you're telling me? Come on, my people. We could do better than this. You know, we can do much better than this. Before we get into the next segment of this program, another thing that I picked up today, I was looking at some health program there from the Trinidad area. And apparently we have a serious issue here in this region or maybe worldwide, but in this region, I'm focusing on St. Kitts Nevis. Every time you look around, some young person, they went for a simple procedure, they pass away. We should not have been life-threatening or whatever the case might be. And sometimes we as patients, I think we lie to the doctors, and as a result of us lying on our pre-ops, we end up with problem. People go for what do you call it? Appointment. You end up, your pressure went up. You rush to the emergency room, you die. Nobody would think you go to a doctor's appointment and you end up in an emergency room and die. Nobody would expect you to get a biopsy and something as simple as a procedure like that, you end up in the emergency room and die. But sometimes we take whatever supplements and whatever we do, when they question you and that question you about what have you drank aspirin or omega-3 or whatever, and you know you did and you said no. So a procedure is done and you bleed out. So these are some stuff that I learned over the weekend during my investigation for this program. So again, let me play this clip. This one is coming from a doctor in the Trinidad area.
People of Trinidad and Tobago and those who are listening, something has crossed my mind. Many of my patients are coming into the hospital with hematuria, which is bleeding when they pass urine. Some have been coming in with bleeding their gums, and no cause can be found. And then I decided to ask about the use of omega, which is the omega, I think it's omega-3, and it is found in a lot of omega products. A lot of omega products are being promoted as a cure-all of everything. I want you all to understand that anything that has the word omega or omega in its ingredients has the propensity to make you bleed and bleed and bleed. It is what they call a blood thinner, like aspirin, warfarin, Plavix, and those type of drugs. But they don't tell you that. But it is written that if you are taking blood thinners and if you could end up with severe bleeding if you use these omega products. I want you all to be very careful, very, very careful, and tell your doctors if you are on the omega products of any form or fashion, because you can bleed to death. I've seen it. We had a lot of problems this morning with a patient, and other patients have been coming in. Sometimes people come for prostate biopsies, and I make sure and ask if they're on any omega products, and when they say yes, I don't do it for 10 days. If you are on omega products, do not do any surgeries, and if it's emergencies, you can bleed to death. So be very careful what you're taking, because it's advertised as a cure-all for everything. It is not, and you can bleed to death. Be careful, please.
Yeah, so that is some health information that I pick up there over the weekend, and I think it was very important that I share it. But Ivor, I'm not going to go back and forth with you tonight because I realize you want to act like a big stone. Curtis Cook said there was some big stone in the former administration. Maybe you joined that club. What do you mean by NRP is calling for an official meeting with the Prime Minister and Nevis? Where is the Prime Minister? Janice Daniel, the leader of the NRP, have said on numerous occasions that she goes down to Nevis and meet with the Prime Minister. Does it matter whether she meet him in Nevis or St. Kitts? Stop moving the goalpost. Stop making excuses. Stop act like a backside. You got common sense, however. I'm not going back and forth with you. You know, I am just responding to your all nonsense when you all put stuff in this thread. At this point in time, whatever you all want to do on Nevis is up to you all, you know. I come across to Nevis, I check my girl Moffett, I check my girl Loretta, I check my boy Mikey Slack, Jeff. I go across to Cabo, have a good time. I check my girl Faith at all, you know. My boy Jebby. There are people I come to Nevis to visit. I don't come to Nevis to bother you all anymore, you know. My boy Tulu is there, Kevin Hanley and the boys, my boy Atherton. You know, I visit folks on Nevis. That is what I am doing when I come to Nevis. I stop bothering my head with your political nonsense, you know. I stop bothering my head with you all. When you're all ready to be serious about what you all doing in Nevis. DJ Marisha is here. But I don't have time to waste with you all. Making excuses, not doing what you all supposed to do, and just talk, don't get nothing done. You got to put some action behind it. And I am very disappointed in Janice and the team. And if she tells me she's out of town, I will apologize to her. But as long as they are Nevis, as long as any of them are on Nevis, I did not go to this meeting with the AG this afternoon. It's very disappointing. And the Nevis people should call you all out for that. And they should make sure you all pay a heavy price for that too. If you all did not go to that meeting today with the AG, you are not ready for public office. People need to look for new candidates. You guys are not ready for the job. That is my opinion. Straight up. Brother Benter, when I'm heating up like this, I got to play a little song to cool me down. Right? So just stand by. Let me drop this one by the man Aston, King Aston. This one is called Progress.
Today, when I look around in the world, what do I see? I see footprints that man have left on the sand while walking through times. I see fruits of our ambitions, figments of our imaginations, and I ask myself, when will it end? When will it end? It is plain to see, universally this land is not bountiful as it was, simply because in his quest for success, nothing stands in man's way. All rivers run dry, soon the birds will fly, the mountains will be no longer high. And when I really think of it, I just wonder why, oh why. I see charity deplored, equal rights totally ignored, wisdom and ingenuity working in accord, simply to afford such inventions as thermonuclear warfare and environmental warfare. And I wonder now, where do we go from here? Prophets everywhere gaze upon the horizon and declare that judgment will come as the savage hands of unscrupulous men defile everything pass by. Time is running out as we eat and drink, species at the brink of being extinct. And I think no one can deny that the price of progress is high, real high. I see consciousness as bait, as today we live recklessly. Money make egos inflate and thereby create a turbulent state. I see a struggle between the sexes, new hang-ups and old complexes. Now the question is, right in context, what shall be next? I've already seen this world have come divided between race, color, creed, and class. And some of the things the scripture predict truthfully come to pass. Soil that wouldn't bear children, making children to be a part of this growing mass. And I ask, if this is progress, how long will it last?
Yes, man. No, I gotta laugh. My boy, I ever say he don't know this and he don't know that and whatever the hell he don't know. I do not know. But I know that I have seen the AG circulate disinformation for the last at least 2 weeks. It's been on social media. Every one of those folks at Nevis is aware of it. I sent it to folks from Nevis. The green team over there, they're aware. I announced it on this program last week. And the flyer states, monthly ministers meeting, March 2024. I announced this last week here. Nevis, Wednesday, March 20. That's today, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Land Registry R.G. Solomon Arcade, Main Street, Charlestown, Nevis. St. Kitts, Thursday, March 21, which is tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Government Headquarters, Church Street, Bastille. Matters related to the electoral office. These are the issues that is on the flyer that the AG outline can be discussed or anything you all want to bring. He makes sure the first thing that was on that flyer, because of the complaint and the energy over the last several months coming from Univision, the very first thing on the flyer, matters related to electoral office, the High Court Registry, Magistrate Court Registry, Land Registry, Intellectual Property Office, Access to Justice Authority, Law Commission, the contact person you can contact, shamara.richards@gov.kn. There was a phone number, area code 869-467-1013, if you want to schedule a private appointment. This is the flyer that circulated on social media, just like you all social everything else. There was a big circulation like this about the consultation at the for the Vance Armory Airport. They went there the previous meeting. Them guys set it up for last Thursday, so I guess the guys from the Tell Me program could not attend. But the Honorable Dr. Janice Daniel Hart was there. You all have to stop playing footsie, stop playing games. Nobody come tell me don't say this and don't say that. Just as Ivor has his opinion, I have mine. I'm not cussing the NRP. I am highlighting their falsehood. I am highlighting where they are complaining they need this, they need that. When you present it to them, they're not there to collect it. You guys asked for the AG to deal with the electoral office issues. You the NRP, you the supporters of NRP. You all cussed the ass out of the AG when he was here. We want the electoral office issue addressed when he came to Nevis to address it. And with all of this nice, 7 of you show up. Well, how many people vote on Nevis back for the election? Only 7 people vote in Nevis. Only 7 persons have an issue with the electoral office. I need to give the people a break. Cut out your bullshit, okay? Because this is where I draw the line. Whatever little confidence I had leave for these candidates in the opposition, whatever little confidence I had leave for them, this just took it away. If no one else show up to that meeting but Janice today, I'll give her credit. If no one else show up to that meeting but the candidate for the NRP, I'll give them credit. But none of them took the time out, so stop talking. Stop complaining. You all have nothing to complain about. I am saying to you, Carlisle Powell. I am saying to you, Kelvin Daly. I am saying to you, Tulu. I am saying to you all have nothing to complain about because you all are not ready for this. You all are not ready for this. And if you all want to debate, I can come on your program, you know. Or you all can come here. Let's debate. Because I'll tell you all straight up, you all ain't ready for this time. Talking is not going to change nothing on Nevis. All you are doing is giving the CCM, along with the leader of the CCM, Mark Brantley, more fuel. So if you are trying to change the government in Nevis, this is not the way to do it. This is not the way to do it.
You know, Marisha, I mean, many would think, I would be very impressed that the Attorney General of the Virgin Islands will go into a community and have these meetings, because that's the law arm of the state, really, where all the decisions, all actions to be taken, even though there's a Prime Minister or Governor, it would be handled through the Attorney General on the legal matters. And that's the best place to get your answers. the Prime Minister or the Governor will revert back to the Attorney General's office for guidance and direction. So I'm a little taken aback to hear of concerns which were raised by the people of Nevis holistically, concerns that they had, and the right person with the answers really, who would represent legally the matters of the facts, came to sit and speak with you about them, and the attendance was not one that should have been more prevailing, more than if it was the Prime Minister, because if the Prime Minister was the one to go to Nevis, for instance, he would still have to work with the Attorney General just like the Governor.
But
So
Mr.
the
Benter,
right person was there. Mhm.
I am convinced now. I am convinced now, more than ever. If the Prime Minister show up to Nevis for a meeting, it's not going to be the same result. You might get the supporters from CCM. But I am of the opinion that these people is not ready for prime time. You understand?
Think they're afraid?
I do not know what it is, and I'm not going to try to find out. I have tried. I can speak from experience. I'm not speaking from what nobody tell me. I was embedded with the NRP from 2022. I've been through the hills and through the valleys with them. They're not ready for prime time. Who have a problem with me saying it? Tough. But they're not ready for this time. They need fresh candidate for that party. They have fumbled too many opportunities. You're going to tell me you are concerned about the electoral office. Anyone can go back over the past couple of weeks for the month of February and see when the AG was on and check the thread. The complaints was about the electoral office. You want the electoral office fixed. This, that, that. The AG spoke about a holistic revamping of the electoral system, boundary change and all of. They didn't accept that. They want something done now. They don't want to wait until everything has to be done. They want something done about the electoral office now, right away. That was their claim. Well, the AG called the bluff. The AG said, okay, you all want something done about the electoral office? I'm coming to Nevis. I am coming to Nevis on the 28th of March. I'll be down at the Solomon Arcade from 4 to 6 p.m. Come and say what you have to say. First thing on the agenda, electoral office. That's the first thing on the agenda. Nobody show up from the opposition. 7 persons, according to the AG's WhatsApp to me, showed up. And he had a good discussion with the people that showed up, but nothing about electoral office. DJ Marisha is disappointed. I cannot help but inform you, the people. I am very disappointed when I heard that from the AG a while ago. But I want to thank the AG for taking the time out and going across to Nevis. And I want to say to the AG, whether it's 5 or 7 persons, the people of Nevis is a part of the Federation. And do what you can to continue to make sure Nevis gets what is due to it. But these politicians, they're not ready. Now, my partner. So back to the other topic we were speaking about last week. The free movement in the CARICOM region. That again was a big blow up last week. And everybody had their say to say. I understand there was supposed to be a meeting last Friday on the 15th to discuss the final, I guess, level of this thing being implemented by the 30th of March. I am of the view. I do not know if it will be implemented on the 31st of March, as Mayor Matley said, but I am of the view that St. Kitts Nevis will not be a part of that final settlement. And according to reports I'm getting out of Antigua, Antigua will not be a part of that final settlement either. You have any other information than that?
Well, I know that Antigua pretty much jumped out of the box too quick. I know that even the BVI and some of the discussions that haven't jumping too fast. We're collective minds need to come together and actually sit down and discuss these things prudently. The CARICOM meeting, I would think, because of the uprising in Haiti, they converged in Haiti a few days ago with the Secretary of the United States on issues to include the direction of the president of Haiti stepping down from his position and allowing for democracy to set stage and restructuring of the government. So maybe that might have been what may have pushed the meeting off from the opening the gates to CARICOM nations with each other. But I would think though that if we're talking, and I heard Boya spoke a little bit about the labor force of public service of government employees, the amount of people that's working for government, more so than those that they could have gotten to diversifying the economy and bringing in the private sector to open business. An even sort of population of what, about 11,000 and change, and I think St. Kitts is some 47,600 something. We're looking at those numbers of a population where the government sector becomes the main source of employment. Diversification is significant at this point. When we say diversifying the economy, we mean bringing in the private sectors, but making sure that your people, the people within the St. Kitts and the West Federation, are the ones who are pretty much trained for the management position, not just come in and you become the person who works at the lower end of the totem pole where you're just labor or otherwise, but you train your people for that niche of industry that you're bringing into the territory through our CIP, Citizen by Investment programs, making sure that we bring a tangible and sustainable, viable industry economically, that not something that comes in for a year or two and then of course the doors are closed, but vetting the industry properly. And this comes into play where working along with your CARICOM countries, the nations, and many who will join eventually, they bring different segment of the private sector into the territory, where the manufacturing alike, where technology is alike, medical alike, that you could work a fabric together. But being separated, you're going to have an umbrella of things where you're working against each other in some instances because the minds are not meeting, because I'm keeping my secret, you're keeping yours. We're not really communicating. Yes, we're part of a federation on the CARICOM, but we're not really exchanging data with each other so that we all succeed. There's not one pool tax that is collected, that is disseminated throughout the federation or throughout CARICOM, that everybody gets a piece of it. Right now in Guyana, with what happened with them with the oil and natural gas, then you have Trinidad that's going through a dry spell because their refineries are closed and they're now importing fuel from Africa and other places where they find themselves in an awkward position. So as the world cycle change, based on the diaspora as far as where we live in or where we are, there's so much more that's pushing, as you can see through the last report from the IMF, of an increase in the tourism market in the OECS nations, where they did an assessment to say it's going to increase about 4.1, and then in 2024 and in 2025, about 3.7%. What is the fabric that we can make that industry more viable to grow even better? Not just wait for the ships to arrive or the aircraft to arrive, but what are some of the things that we can do to enhance where we are, become that product that has that niche that other places don't have, or maintaining the influx of people into the Eastern Caribbean or the Eastern Caribbean hemisphere to grow our market so all would eat the same, where you have more taxi drivers, where you have more hotel operators, you have more restaurants, or more of the historical side of it that explains or teaches the culture and so forth of the nation, and what we're doing within our school system to prepare our people. But to just close the door and say, we don't want this. Okay, what thought has been placed into it? Because based on the, when we look at going back to the Jones Act within the Virgin Islands and the Caribbean, and you go back to when we look at the Boston Tea Party, where at one point it was just that settlement within the United States for those that came from Europe, England, Britain as specific, and it became a thing where there was war. We learned the history of what war created, and with that, a merger brought a better power to the nation, where now we have the United States of America. But the key to this is that we are in a better position now because we can go and we can research history and look at the pros and the cons. I haven't heard the pros yet, I'm only hearing cons. And the cons that we're living on is based on what the people feel within ourselves. And here comes the other part that many people want to hear. Anybody says, we are actually being very racial to our own Caribbean brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's sad to say, because many have traveled throughout the diaspora of the Caribbean. Many have traveled to the Virgin Islands, for instance, Virgin Islands at one point, where they were subjected to being chased by immigration, right, at one point. And after a while, when you saw how the influx have diversified the economy, the contractors, the electricians, the plumbers, the craftsmen and women that came throughout the Caribbean into the U.S. Virgin Islands to build the Caribbean, the Virgin Islands, and made a monument of what we are today. We can't close doors on viabilities, because the more we educate our own, the heavier our brain becomes. The less that we educate, the lighter our brain becomes, so anyone can infiltrate and place things in your mind that says to you, this is not going to work. But you have to understand the market. If the Chinese were to stay in China, if the Jamaicans were to stay in Jamaica, and I can show all of the way these people have been all over the world, those from Santo Domingo have been. When I researched many of the countrymen throughout Europe in certain positions, a lot of St. Kitts and Nevis that they don't really know about, some haven't been back and they haven't really came back in part. But when you look at what has happened, I saw the attainment that they have been able to achieve, closing the door to something, because a lot of these people, for instance, you have the Sandals Hotel, that's Jamaica, right? And when the Sandals, when these guys move through the Caribbean developments that they did, who were the benefactors? It hasn't become members of the same state that's there, that became the managers and so forth. So I am just talking in a broader picture. What are we going to bring to our country? We have C and A, as we said the last time, that separates us. We got to diversify the economy. But if you become united as one, I can tell you, the force to be reckoned with is that the United States become the supporter, in a sense, of the nation. I said it the other day and I explained why. Ally, ally, ally. In times of war, because of where we are, the United States of America make sure that they become the main ally of the CARICOM nation, the OCS states, and then the others who will join in and have their own armed forces. That may sound simple, but it's very significant to the nation. For the defense force to change to armed forces of the Caribbean rather than defense force of Antigua or Royal Defense Force of St. Kitts, and that will change. I am seeing that each country has a governor general. Barbados separated now, they want to call it republic, so they have a president. And then of course you have a Dominican Republic. I don't know if they can be considered again to be brought back in to CARICOM alike. But then you have Haiti and all those other nations. And we look at what's going on in Haiti and say, no, we don't want the Haitians here. Let's take out the umbrella of the culture thought that we see based on what we see going on there and look more into the future. Is it always going to be like that? Revelation and revolutions in some instances created some of what we have today, how we're able to fight for it and gain what we have. In obtaining, we have a CARICOM, we have the OECS. We're together, but we're still far different and far apart. How do we change that mindset? You know what it is to say that you look at another Black man or woman in the face and there's a prejudice within your heart in a Caribbean geographic area of people from your own diaspora, with prejudice. I don't like you because you're an Antiguan. I don't like you because you're Dominican or Solution. You see what we've done? We've gone to identify individuals as something other than being a human being or a Caribbean man or woman.
Well, Bento, not stopping you, right? But I want you to understand that we have a crisis here in our beloved Federation of St. Kitts Nevis that is bigger than the issues in CARICOM. You just make a statement about one of your brothers in the CARICOM looking at you as a stranger. We have a bigger problem than that. We have Nevisians and Kittitians here in our beloved Federation looking at you as a foreigner, as a stranger. Kittitian can't stand Nevisian. Nevisian can't stand Kittitian. For years, they had this thing about the former premier, the Robert Batcher, say he's going to give Nevisian bone in the rice and pepper in the soup. The current leader of the opposition, the current premier of Nevis, Mark Brantley, the leader of the CCM, that was his campaign. He said he believed it happened. He had it on his program, his podcast, dirtying the people mind of Nevis against Kittitian, because the premier Batcher done that some 60 years ago, you know. That's still haunting us today. because there's a leader in Nevis that is using that to his convenience. And the people of Nevis, just as the people of St. Kitts, they're not thinking rational. Politics is dividing us. If you check the bloodline from Nevis to St. Kitts, right here in the little village I'm at, many people leave Nevis and came to St. Kitts, never went back to Nevis. There's a lot of Nevisians here in St. Kitts. One of the prime bars that is worldly known, worldwide, Sunshine Bar. That's my little cousin here from St. Paul's. Went across to Nevis, started a little barbecue thing on the beach. One of the biggest business on Nevis. The problem is the politician them. And some of these people get caught up in it. So my problem right now is that CARICOM will come in St. Kitts and Nevis easily, with no problem, when the time is right. My concern here is for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to get their mind reset and understand that we are one. St. Kitts and Nevis is one. Ain't not two different this and two different that. What this fight is all about? You are speaking the right things, Brother Benta. You're speaking about Caribbean unity. You're from Antigua. You end up in the Virgin Islands. You did well. You became a senator, chief of police, amongst other things. Many of us left this little tiny island, went there and do the same thing. Some run from immigration, some get caught, some return back there even after they get caught. We know the history, we know the story, but we have a serious problem here in St. Kitts and Nevis. If you listen to this guy commenting here, a simple conversation about what transpired today, we're not gonna have somebody sensible like Ivor gonna make excuse for the opposition not to show up to a meeting with the AG. I guarantee you, you ran for governor of the Virgin Islands. You was not successful. But I guarantee you, whether it's the Attorney General or the governor of the Virgin Islands, call a public meeting, you guys are going to turn up to hear what they got to say and you're going to ask your questions.
Definitely. Definitely. You know, one of the things, Jeffrey, now that you go to St. Kitts Nevis, I spoke when I said that education creates more density in people's brain, where people who understand brainwashing you can't infiltrate. If they understand, and I hope that they do, but in the vision is St. Kitts, where as you come together as a federation, the strength in unity in numbers, in unity with numbers, you have a market that's a preamble to many. I will say that based on what I've to Sea Trade. I've been to Sea Trade and many of the other from the sea life of our ships and to aircraft as far as American Airlines, Delta, and so forth, traveling the countries. And the market for St. Kitts Nevis, over the years, as I've looked at what's been taking place as I went to a lot of these conferences, St. Kitts is now one of the products. St. Kitts Nevis is one of those products now that is moving more travelers and overnight passengers into the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. If you break that tie and chain with each other, what's going to happen is you're going to have a serious fall off, because hoteliers, they look for numbers. Hotels in construction, they look for numbers. The influx of people coming into your region, that's part of your strength economically. Now, if many people work for the government and you're not paying attention, because government don't make money. Government takes money. In other words, you pay for license, insurance, you pay for business license, and all the stuff you got to pay government for, registering your car, whatever. That's government. So you're not making money. I mean, you're not creating the venue for new money, because all you're doing is collecting from the businesses within the territory, and out of what the business pay to the government, that's how you pay your employees within the government. There's no other way the government makes money. Now, if you have an investment side of the government that goes to the stock market, to the GDP, and you use that in a fashion to go to market, then you have another product of income. But otherwise than that, if you don't stay as a unit, strong together, align yourself and not forget, but educate the people the right way, rather than fighting something that we have no other bearing. So it's one of those things where the first set of people in Nevis and St. Kitts was what? Indians, right? They were Indians, right? So
I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. I'm not even sure.
It should start as within the Caribbean hemisphere. And here it is, we have an opportunity because we are better people now. We're smarter. We have been exposed in more ways based on continents. You know more about the United States than Americans know about themselves when it comes to history, because that's something we teach. You know more about the Caribbean than the United States know about the Caribbean because of what we teach in our schools. But with the strength of knowledge, we have watered it down to become something less than the ability that we have attained based on our forefathers' history and what they've done to move us forward, rather than continue to stand in the same spot 60 years ago. It's elevating. The world is moving in a trend where we're now in what you call an AI world. And if you don't become a part of joining that market, we're going to be a community sitting there waiting for somebody to give us something rather than us attaining it ourselves, because we have diversified and we kind of open our minds to the world's strength that we can become a mecca of as well.
But we're talking about diversity, right? And I'm listening to you and I'm reflecting back. I'm laughing. Not too long ago, our former Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Denzel Douglas, spent a lot of time in the outer lands trying to bring businesses and investors into the country. And he was attacked by the then opposition. And Douglas made a statement that those days BlackBerry was the thing. He could run the country from his BlackBerry. That was one of the biggest campaign fight amongst the opposition going on and whatever. Now we've gone from BlackBerry to Facebook, our social media, because I can guarantee you check any of these candidates or these politicians, the government ministers, check their status on social media. And any day of the week, any morning, it tells you what kind of service you're getting from them. And I'm going to explain a little thing to you, right? When I really start waking up and realize, boy, Marisha, why are you wasting your time? I was campaigning on behalf of the NRP to help them because I at the time, I honestly believe that they could have done, based on their track record, they could have done a lot better for Nevis than the current CCM. And when I look at the situation with our hospital wing that started in 2017 with a cost of 19 million, that's supposed to complete in 2019, 2 years, 24 months. That was the thing. And up to 2021, 22, when we are campaigning, that thing was still a shell. But what the administration did, the current administration, I am of the view that they paint the building and the outside to give the impression that the hospital was coming close to finish, when the interior was just a shell, nothing in there. And they was able to pull that off because the people of Nevis are nice. They take everything for granted. Nobody check nothing for themselves. So I basically, when I found out about that situation, I reached out to a very prominent social media newscaster here by the name of Andrew Huey from Jamaica. And I asked him to go across to Nevis to do a story on the hospital wing. And he agreed. I reached out to my good friend here, Brother Prince Mills of the Carib Express, to provide him with a round-trip tickets to Nevis, which I was responsible for. I went further and I reached out to Carlisle Powell, Kelvin Daly, and Janice Daniel Hodge, the leader of the NRP, to get someone to pick him up from the piers in Nevis to go across to the Alexandria Hospital to do his pictures that he can do his story. After that, I wanted them to take him to Cabo, where he could have a lunch. Cabo was taking care of that. Needless to say, neither Carlisle Powell, Kelvin Daly, or Janice Daniel Hodge made the effort to respond to my request. I eventually had to reach out to Cabo to make that arrangement. Cabo made the arrangement, had the gentleman picked up, and took him across to the Alexandria, and then across to Cabo. And he did a nice write-up on the situation. But you know what I picked up a couple of weeks later on the social media page for Janice Daniel Hodge, the leader of the NRP? After she told me she did not have the time, she was busy. And maybe those guys I just mentioned, Carlisle Powell and Kelvin Daly, was busy. These guys are the top notch in the NRP. That's what they said, they was busy. But on her social media page, and I screenshot it, she put her status as nobody ever too busy. They make time for what they want to make time for. So what does that tell me? If I am here fighting a fight for you, and I sent a journalist across to your island to assist you in spreading the story, and you choose not to make arrangement to get the gentleman pick up because you was busy, and your assistant was busy, and your whole NRP team was too busy. In your whole organization, you couldn't find a friend or nobody to pick up this gentleman. I had to ask Carbo to do it. And then you want to take credit for what Carbo did, because you're going to say Carbo is a part of NRP, which is bullshit. Carbo did what I asked him to do, not what you asked him to do. But on your status now, you're going to put, people are never too busy. And why she put that on her status? Because Premier Mark Brantley made a statement about how busy he was. So in response to him, you're never too busy. But she could be too busy. Mangoes and snake and chicken, they don't get along, you know. Cockroach and fowl don't get along, you know. And the thing about it is, Brother Benter, nobody gonna stop me from talking things the way they are. You know? I'm not gonna polish up nothing for anybody. Politics is a dirty game, they say, but politics don't have to be dirty. You don't have to dirty the community, you don't have to dirty the people. I have said to a good cousin of mine that is involved in politics, if you're not going to go in there for the right thing, which is to take care of the people, you're a public service officer. If you're not going to do right by the public, don't offer yourself up to the public. If DJ Marish are going to come here on a Wednesday evening to lie for politician and to pacify things and to try to make excuse, then I need to shut it down. Because how did this program get started? Because the former Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, did wrong by me. Locking me down in quarantine unnecessarily when I had a place to come to. And lied to the Federation about everything that was taking place during COVID. And I exposed them. And by me exposing them, I assist in a way in getting rid of them. And get a government that the country deserves. And up until today, Brother Benter, up until today, I don't understand why nobody's been arrested as yet from the former administration. You know. I still don't understand why, but only time will tell us. Because up to Monday night, I listened to Ian Patches live, my good friend, speaking about Prime Minister Joe. They're fixing the morgue. People done dead, so why you have to fix morgue? What happened to the healthcare system? When Ian Patches live, know what kind of damage they leave in the healthcare system. Ian Patches live, is well aware that a lot of the damage they leave there has been taken care of. People who visiting patients at the hospital up to today talk to me saying, boy, I could see the improvement, I could see the work that is taking place. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Somebody called me today, tell me they heard the Prime Minister call my name on Freedom FM. I tell them, well, I do not know what's going on. I did not even know the Prime Minister is on Freedom FM. But he was thanking people for their input and contribution to the work that is taking place at the hospital. And he also thanked DJ Marisha. If he did that, I would thank him for acknowledging me and what I'm doing. But the bottom line is, anyone could drive by the JNF anytime and see the big difference that's happening there. The amount of work that is being done. Yes, work is being done on the morgue, but not just at the morgue. The nurses that was cussing and carrying on with me last November, last September, last October, about the water pouring into that institution everywhere. If a shower rain fall for 5 minutes, the buckets, the pails, the blankets, the sandbags have to come out. They have to pull patients from the side of the wall because the rain is coming in the wards, in every aspect of the JNF, every building. Today, as we sit here talking, Brother Benta, when the rain fall, nobody have to run to pull in a blanket. This morning, a nurse, she had me there in a long conversation. She said, Mr. Marisha, I do not know if it's because of you or whoever, but I want to thank you all because the shower of rain last week, I went and I looked and I searched in every corner to see if any water coming in, and not a drop of water. You guys doing a good job, thanks. The roofs have been repaired. Every roof at the JNF has been repaired. They are now dealing with the interior. We are making preparation to deal with the interior. A private ward that was closed down for years because of the leaky roof. Roof has been repaired. Rain after rainfall since that roof has been repaired. Not a drop of water come inside. The interior painting is done. The only thing left to do in that private ward is a heavy, deep clean, put the air conditions back in service, put back in the furniture and get the place open up. 7.5 years then people was in there. Nobody could get it going. When I came here, all I'm hearing is about procurement process. Procurement process. Procurement process will take another year, 2 years to get it done. I spoke to Dr. Morton, I spoke to Dr. Drew. Well, Prime Minister Drew. And Prime Minister Drew said, Jeff, why are we going to get it done? I hear you. I understand you. We're going to get it done. And it's done. But instead of these people, our citizens, stop listening to the fake news and the propaganda out there and check for themselves the amount of things that this government have done. They're fighting a war on their own. Today, a lady accosted me in the lobby area, and someone has asked me, who am I? And I told them. She said, oh, that's you. Now I know. I had an issue. I said, what is your issue? She said, my husband was here and his 2 foot was broken and he went to use the bathroom and there was no railing in the bathroom. I said, okay, that's something simple enough to fix. Yes, there's a lot of things to be fixed, so that is something simple enough to be fixed. And I walk around, I saw them in the emergency room. I went over and I introduced myself to the gentleman and I said, your wife explained to me you had a situation. I apologize for that, but the matter will be resolved. Okay. Now, it's not everything you're going to catch. It's not everything you're going to pick up. But there are some simple things that when they come to your attention, you take care of it. One person complained to me, oh, when I drive into the entrance of the hospital, I drop in a pothole. I've been driving there from last September. I never drop in a pothole. But that person said that they experienced even as today. So tomorrow morning, I will go and check it. And if there's a pothole, the pothole needs to be repaired. But we got bigger things to deal with than those stuff for people to come worry and cuss the government. You heard the message I played earlier. The gentleman did 10 things. He did 9 correctly. Nobody said nothing positive. Nobody thanked him. But he purposely did 1 wrong just to get a drive. And everybody's all over it. And I'm asking the people of St. Kitts Nevis, if you guys cannot see nothing positive out of this government, take a drive around the island. And if you do not know how to get around the island, my number is 660-0195. That's my local number. 869-660-0195. All of you go have the complaints. I'll be happy to take a drive with you around the island. I'll be happy to give you a tour of the JNF, show you the before and after where we are now, that you all can see the progress of what is taking place. I did a couple of lives broadcasts. I did one from the water situation in Cairn to give some updates. That is also a long way ahead now, because when I went there, it was just a foundation. Now the actual building, the house for the pump is actually up and ready for plastering. There's a lot that is happening at the JNF. The excavation has started for the MRI building in the back of the old hospital, where people saying they could have used for something else. But the work has been done. And the government is doing a great job, Brother Benta. So right now, though, for some of you guys in the region who is championing this CARICOM thing and want to see things move forward, remember, there was a time when Wikiticians and Nivision could have come to the Virgin Islands without a visa. You remember those days? Okay. That was changed, I guess, in the 60s or the 70s.
In the 70s.
In the 70s. And I understand recently they're trying to get it back in that way again.
Yes.
Okay. Any movements on that?
That's going to take some time. One of the things that, as a Caribbean country, as you know, even within some of the CARICOM nations, that even between that, some of the countries still need a visa to come to each other, even though we're part of CARICOM. The Virgin Islands base and what's been done, US Virgin Islands that is, working in conjunction with CARICOM states. The Virgin Islands need to come to the table also with its federal partner as well, because we are a country onto the United States as well as territory that our governor can't make the sole decision when it comes to that. However, part of what needs to be looked into is, and I see and I heard that there's stronger regulations being put into the CIP program, Citizen by Investment program, making sure through Interpol alike that the individuals that are being vetted today, that they are in fact who they are, and in fact they're in good standing. It's one of the things that fell off in some of our CARICOM countries, where people were having identities of others when they were hiding from Interpol. Once that is squared, where the passport section now of the country, where you got a digital passport, in a sense where there's bars within the passport that the countries have changed to, working in conjunction with the US Embassy. I see a way forward when it comes to the labor force. There's going to be another thing where I'll be part of those meetings with US Customs, US Immigration, because the Virgin Islands government itself, in talking about making a decision to be a part of CARICOM, they cannot extend the full capacity of the service for entry into the US Virgin Islands. However, it's a doable program once we do things right, but we have to include that side of it. It's just like anything else. Going back to where we were, because of course, you know, a lot of who we are today came as a result of the same thing we were talking about, working our economic table to grow our demographic of our community in a different way by educating our people. And when we had all those guys that traveled to then what we call UVI, University of Virgin Islands, they went out and they came back with tangible information. I would say that the Eastern Caribbean right now is struggling in the US Virgin Islands. And when we say, how can that be? You guys are American territory. You're American territory, but not in thought of growth. Our people rely heavily to a certain degree on the federal government assistance program. In the US Virgin Islands, we provide so many assistance to individuals. We have the WIC program for parents with children. We have the SNAP program, provide for meals. You can go into a supermarket. You who are working as a professional, you could probably walk out of there with probably about 10 items in your cart. But those under those programs, they walk out of the supermarket with 2 carts, full to the brim. Then you have the housing assistance program with Section 8. And then you have the other aspect of it where whatever needs you have, that there is a benefit to go into the government agency and you get it. Yes, you have some, but not similar to a certain degree. So, but you have to work in your federation in order to eat. And here, you can actually have a living where each child birth to a parent, each child every month is I think is about $3,000 to $4,000 in food stamps per child, right? For instance. And so some parents have 6, 7, 8 children because they collect that in food stamps. You can't use it to buy furniture and so forth, but to buy food. Then the government is going to pay for your rent. Up to $1,300 they will pay for Section 8 for an apartment for you and your family. And then you look at the other part of service that we go as far as light and water, but light more so that you pay the utility company, the government takes care of that. So in bringing the program back to, I am a strong advocate that certain things need to be done because we have to grow the economy and we have to build out the economy. As you notice, after the hurricanes, the Virgin Island is still stagnant as far as repairs.
Yeah.
The schools have not been built. The hospital, I'm here speaking about a hospital. Our hospitals have been damaged. They still have not been, the repairs necessary has not been done. Our healthcare is in shambles. And so we are not A1. We are a US territory, but BVI that's Tortola. They're much further ahead than us as a US territory that have over 15 billion US dollars assigned to this territory, and we can't begin to even spend in one construction today.
Benta, you know what always surprised me about St. Thomas? In particular, the US government, and when I look at it, they send money all over the globe to every country, while they got their local people on the street eating out of garbage pan. But more so, they send these millions and billions of dollars to the Virgin Islands that have to be spent on the projects and the people. And these nasty, dirty politicians they got down there, instead of using the money to develop the place. They left the money sitting there, they know they have to send it back, because if they don't use it, they cannot use it for nothing else. So so why are you getting all of these millions of dollars from the US government to take care of your people? And instead of you utilizing that and take care of your people, that money have to go back at the end of the year?
Well, we have grants, and after the storm, during COVID, we had a CARES Act, which is a federal grant that's allotted to the US territories, where the Virgin Islands received $500 million, for instance. This is separate to the $8 billion we received after the hurricane in 2017. COVID came in 2020. But the $500 million, how it was set up was, it was to help the people within the territory be able to sustain themselves and take care of what needs to be taken care of, different from the other subsidies and funds we receive. So the $500 million, for instance, we could have taken out of the $500 million, because we had protocols, hotels were closed, taxi services, restaurant, all those businesses, hairdressers, barbers, all those businesses were closed. So you have an industry that went to sleep, but the industry had employees, and those employees are people who have to eat and sustain themselves. I propose to the government then that we take 100,000 out of the 500 billion, and we give every citizen of the Virgin Islands $100,000 out of the 500 million. They said I was crazy. They thought it was ludicrous. There's no way we could take federal dollars and do that. Then here comes a smart scheme, and I'm gonna tell you what's going on, why we're not spending the money. A smart scheme came up where they saw a way for them to make money, our politicians, for themselves, not for the people. So while they said I was crazy about my idea about giving every citizen $100,000, I made a significant mockery of it. The government itself created a lottery. And in that lottery, they selected 10 people from 2 districts, St. Croix, District of St. Croix, and District of St. Thomas, St. John. They gave 10 people out of the lottery. If you took the vaccine, they said to pull random numbers and whatever name came up with the lottery, that's who they gave the money to, right?
I heard
so they gave 20 people $100,000 when they said we couldn't use the federal dollars to do that. Then here comes the American Recovery Plan to help Americans get their feet back on the ground in the Virgin Islands. Suggestion continued in my direction of so many things we could have done. We could have paid for the cargo for the trailers that bring the food in. We could have subsidized in every aspect of people's life. We could have taken care of those who had mortgages or rents that they couldn't pay. We could have funded the people who were short in that arena, but we chose not to. They started splashing cash for a campaign, election campaign. That's when I ran for lieutenant governor, as you know, for a campaign, and they fooled the people by buying $20 gas for them and stuff like that. But people thought, oh, it's great. But now the Virgin Islands is what you call a quagmire, where we're locked. Nothing has moved or built. Our economic stimulation is dead because we're living in what you call a false economy. An economy is built based on what you are making based on industry, not from your federal government. And the federal government, as you said, there is a sunset on a lot of these funds. We're up to $15 billion that we have for repairs and building with the Virgin Islands. But what our government has done is they saw a way of, how can I make 10% or 20% of the contracts that I issue to people so I can live like a king and enrich myself on the backs of the people. And that's what's going on in the Virgin Islands. But what I did in realizing that, I had a meeting with the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And while they laughed at some of the things that I did, they thought it would never come to pass the day where I was able to have some of the cases within the Virgin Islands move from the US Virgin Islands into a court in New York. Because in our government, our judges, our attorney general, just about every fabric of operation of government answer to one person, not to the people. And I saw that it would have been a losing battle to fight within your own home. And I was successful in having some of the case moved to New York, the Southern District of New York, where it's at today. And people are running helter-skelter now because they know, you familiar with the Southern District of New York, how that works, that you can't play with that court. You can't play with that district. And they're coming for every single one of them within the Virgin Islands. When we say, why are you speaking so ill of the Virgin Islands? I'm speaking ill of the operation managers within the Virgin Islands, not the people who don't know they're being bamboozled. And that's when Nevis is fitting in. They gotta understand, you gotta take a stand for yourself. Or as people look at you as saying, well, you don't have an interest to fight. I don't know about it, Jeffrey. I know that you've been pushing very hard because I've heard you, I've listened to Dwight, I've listened to many of you speak in the forums and participating with you and here. But I'm asking for you to just be a little patient, a little more patient. I know it's not easy, but because I know your heart is big. I know we're just saying, I hear you, but after we speak, after this podcast, you're practically in tears when you talk to me about the concern you have for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. You're normally practically in tears. And you try to figure, what in God's name can I do? What else can I do to assist in educating these people, our people, to know that they have a strength that no one, second to none, that we could grow a market that nobody have ever seen. And you express those things to me. So I know, ladies and gentlemen that's listening, Jeffrey have a big heart, okay? He gonna fight like a bull, but he has a big heart because his love for his people is second to none. I will applaud you for that.
Thank you, sir. We are getting close to the end of time for this evening. So I'm going to drop this song here by my boy, Sugar Allos, End of Time, and give you a chance for your final thought, Brother Benta. So stand by.
Thank you.
Study the whole universe. How come this world gets so corrupt and cursed? Things are strange, cause it's not like before. Man's life in turmoil, with disaster and war, for sure. With the nuclear this and the nuclear that, they intend to smash down the world flat. And they don't care about the master's plan, cause every day man seeking to destroy man. Put a hand, cause this was never meant to be. Man's supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days. Cause in discomfort and strife, what a life, what a life. Cause in this comfort and strife, what a life in these times. But these are the signs of the end of times.
Oh yeah!
La 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 la.
Sugar Allos.
La 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 la. Mankind had behold the first sunrise. This world to him was like a paradise. But up to now, to his ways he never take heed. at war with himself because of his greed. I read when they dropped the bomb in Hiroshima. In history, it is the world's disaster. It's in record how millions of people dead. Yet every day, man improving a new warhead. They dread, cause this was never meant to be. Man supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days, causing discomfort and strife. What a life, what a life, causing discomfort and strife. What a life in these times, but these are the signs of the end of time.
Yeah, man. Thank you, David. Wake up. We can't make it if we try.
La 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 la. Mankind of himself create dread disease. Talking about gonorrhea, AIDS and herpes. Now we searching desperately to find the cure. And up to now, man still hasn't passed first floor. Well, what more? The Bible said that when God made woman, He specified she was man's companion. Some men turn away from her beauty and perfection, showing us plain that they prefer live with a man in this land. But this was never meant to be. Man supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days, causing discomfort and strife. What a life, what a life, causing discomfort and strife. What a life in these times, but these are the signs of the end of time. I pray that one day this nonsense will cease. Mankind must return to uttermost peace, cause the penalty is death and destruction. Man, know thyself, stop causing more complication, change your plan. It's time the world leaders come together. Stop trying to destroy one another. Doesn't matter if you're from England or Haiti, America, Iraq, Beijing or Germany, sign the treaty. Cause this was never meant to be. Man supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days, causing discomfort and strife. What a life, what a life, causing discomfort and strife. What a life in these times, but these are the signs of the end of time. What a life, what a life, causing discomfort and strife.
Yeah, sound of the man Sugar Aloes. Brother Benta, I just have to laugh, because there's a saying about beating a dead jackass or a dead donkey. No matter how you beat the donkey, you're getting up, eh? When it's dead, it's done. My boy Ivor here now, still asking me questions. I must ask the AG this, ask the AG that. Did you hear me say earlier the AG was in Nevis? They could have gone there and asked the AG any question they want.
Yes.
The AG had a meeting in Nevis today, the 20th of March from 4 to 6. You could have gone and asked any matters. He said related matters to electoral office, high court registry, magistrate court registry, and land registry, intellectual property office, access to justice authority, law commission. You all could have gone and asked the AG anything all you want. Now, why you coming on this chat to tell me DJ Marisha must go ask the AG about how many money spent on Nevis? That is what Janice Daniela should have gone there to do. She's the leader of NRP. That is what Cleon should have gone there to do. She's opposition. That is what my girl, Patricia Bartlett and J.D. Keynes and Ronalds, that's what they should have gone there to do. Ask the hard question to the AG. Let the AG tell them something. Now you're going to come on this podcast that Marisha must go ask the AG. I don't have a damn thing to ask the AG about Nevis. AG, continue to do the job you're doing. Keep up the good work. Thank you for taking the time out, Brother AG, to go across to Nevis and continue to do whatever you can do as the Attorney General of the Federation. In the meantime and between time, you supporters of those opposition in Nevis and you supporters of the sitting government, you all better wake up and pull up all your socks, because this is how you all plan to run a country. Only a matter of time you all ain't gonna have a country, you know? Because these politicians, however you might not be in Nevis, but you got contact with everybody in Nevis, call them out, tell them what they're doing down this bullshit. You don't have to be in Nevis to do things. Marisha was not in St. Kitts Nevis last week. I just dropped back in the Federation here on Saturday. But I'm doing my part. You all know to make mischief when you all need to from whatever part of the world you all is. But when it's time for you all to do your work, you don't have the time. You're busy. When you all got to cuss the Prime Minister, or you got time to do that, or you got time to cuss everybody, but to do your all part, to help you all self, you all don't have time for that. I ain't bringing a wash rag in all your bathroom to wash all your backside, you know. Or you're going to wash it all yourself, telling all you know. But Benta, your final thought.
And I want to thank you for the listening audience who's on. I wish I would follow you along with some of the commentaries, but at the same time, I think first you spoke about is a Constable Henry, you said. I don't know who he is.
He's a former police officer, very sensible guy, very smart guy.
Yeah, seems energized. I think, and I hope that in bringing information forward with documentations that I had for next show, I would pray that the nation and those who are listening follow what's happening with South Africa and what South Africa is becoming in the world today. And South Africa is moving into a different era of the world where we're going to see the strength change from an impoverished nation, which it is right now as a result of what they have, but it's not being expended in Africa. They're pushing a lot of those colonial state countries out of Africa and taking control of the helm of Africa itself. You're going to see a significant change in tide and push as far as what's happening within our diaspora. So for the next show, I said to all, I wish everyone Godspeed and pray that all who are listening stay in good health, and the hospital in St. Kitts and Nevis is built like it should, and as well as in the Virgin Islands. So I wish you Godspeed, and I thank you for having me on with you this evening.
Thank you, Brother Bentus. So let me give some notice here before I drop my final track for the night. You guys know once I drop the unofficial anthem of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, we are out of here. I want to say good night to the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Terence Joe, your new lady, and your team, your family. I wish you all well. Continue doing the good works that you can do. Looking forward to having you here in this podcast soon, that we can give some updates to the people. You're long overdue. Now, next Friday is Good Friday, and we're going to have an excited event here in the Newton Grong area over there at Breeze Park. It's a promotion. It's considered the Fun Day. It's dubbed Fun Day for Leighton Garpey Skip Williams legacy, and that Fun Day will be on Friday, the 29th of March. Going to be a lot of activities there and the Newton Grong Playfield, and that event kick off around 10 a.m. You're going to have musical performances by Firehouse Sound, DJ Sugar Bowl, and the undisputed Small Axe Band International. So look forward to seeing you there. There are going to be a lot of funs and games, lots to eat and drink, bouncing castle, dominoes, football, cricket competition 2020. I'll be a part of that. Tug of war, lots of prizes to win, cash prize giveaways. So my boy Lero and brother, Mr. World, and my boy there, management, Gregory. Look forward to seeing you guys next week, Friday there in Newton Ground. Also, before I get into dropping that unofficial closing anthem, you know, I cannot close out without giving my boy Carbo a plug. So let me drop Brother Carbo ad here, you know.
Carbo's, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Carbo's Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Carbo's Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Carbo's and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Carbo's, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over. You got the food all over.
Yes, that's my boy Carbo over there in Fountain Nevis. Check him out Saturdays by 10:30 in the morning. You got your fish and fungi and your goat water ready to rumble. Carbo is always ready to serve. Very nice kid. Also want to drop a little idea for my girl sister Carmen over there. Carmen Henry there, over there from Boyd's Village. She do her regular lunches there at Shirlane, right across from the entrance to the West Ferry Terminal there. So take a listen to Carmen.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shillings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and sundaes. Opposite the our shop, right down the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
Yes, that's my girl there, Sister Carmen Henry, lovely chef there. I get my lunch from her daily, so, you know, I'm doing well. Let's take a quick listen for the DJ Maury Show.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Maury Shaw's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Maury Shaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Maury Shaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Maury Shaw. Log on.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Maury Shaw's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Maury Shaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Maury Shaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Log on.
Yes, my good people, let me take some time out to thank my engineer, the man, Brother Ike, out of TNT, Trinidad and Tobago. You know, without Brother Ike, this program will not be where it's at today. So I really want to thank him for his continued contribution and keeping this program live and lively. Also want to thank my nephew there, the man Glenville Lawrence, for cutting my clips week after week and keep me going and getting things ready to come to you, the people. I want to say good evening to my boy there, the man, Brother Elvan Ellie. How you doing? How are your wife doing? The man, Alvan Brown. Also want to touch one of my strongest supporter there, Sister Cora Bennett. Good evening. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for everything you do to keep this platform alive and lively. Sister Hazel Claxton. Good evening. Thanks for your support as well. Sister Joseph Buchanan. How about my girl, the Sister Rosita Pontine? Sister Yoni Mitchum, Ivy Carty. How you doing, Sister Sheila Barrett? How about Naomi Ward? Hope all is well with you guys. My girl, Lioness Charles, part of the movement that keeping things live and lively. Touching my boy there over in the Houston area, the man Eustace Hendrickson. Hope all is well with you. My uncle there in St. Croix, Eustace Hutchinson. Hope all is well. My cousin Kent Benair, Sister Pam Cook. My brother there called Morris. How are you doing there in St. Thomas? How is Sister Valicia doing? Brother Avon Brown, Patsy Brown, Ralph and crew. The man Sour. How about the man Dennis Morris there? George Dennis Morris and St. Thomas. Dennis Morris there, George Morris, and the Florida area end. Just want to touch you guys one time. Also want to big up my boy, Brother Kent. I understand he celebrated a birthday not too long ago. Big up Sister Debbie, how you doing? The man Jerome Vanderpool, aka the King Ranger. Hope all is well. The mighty Pat there and St. Croix. There's so many names to call. Sometimes you gotta forgive me, too. If I have to call every name on this program nightly, I would not end it in the night. The man Tony Hendrickson, the man King Sweeney. How about the Mila Box? The man there, the brother Duncan Big Lice Watley. How you doing? The man there, Dwyer Astafan, Sam Condor, Larry Vaughan, Ira McMahon, Dr. Martin and crew. The big JL, how you doing? The man Ike. DJ Rabuka, the man Lincoln Hobson there, how you doing? Man Curtis Cook. Also want to touch Sister Lynn, how you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're okay. Sister Dietrich Farrell Smith, hope you're doing well. Tracy Jeffers, Tracy Powell. How about Sister Anesta? Hope you guys are doing well. Sister Bessie, hope you're doing well. Gwyneth Marisha, how are you doing? Hope all is well with you. My son there in the LA area, the man Jeff Roy Marisha Jr., how is Sister Jazz? Hope all is well. Brother Junior Greer, how are you doing, my son? Hope all is well with you. How is Monique and the team? Hope everybody is doing well. Brother Adrian, my brother Gene Paris there in the New York area. My niece, Chantel, and Alicia. Your brother, hope all is well with you guys. Want to say a belated birthday greeting to my cousin there, Sister Gloria Hutchinson of Smart Fit. She celebrated her birthday on Monday, 18th of March. It was nice. I got some, I think that's some velvet cake I got there from you, Gloria. Tasted well. I'm not a cake lover, but I enjoy the cake. Thanks for remembering me to give me a taste of your birthday cake. Folks, don't forget, if you're looking for a place to get clothing, check out Gloria Hutchinson, their Smart Fit in the old Simaca building, right next to Skelec and Central Street, Bastia. She got some lovely inventory there. Check out the DJ Marisha sent you. Also, you can check her second location there on Keon Street, right off 4th Street. Lovely clothing. My girl there, brother, I must say, brother Williams, Austin Williams, and his second there, Laura Williams, also have their store there in the TDC Mall right there on 4th Street. Check them out, tell them DJ Marisha sent you. I want to big up my boy Julian Pemberton. I understand he celebrated a birthday as well, so I know he owed me a few drinks. I look forward to catch up with him because he always catch me on the move Never catch him when he's standing at one spot. See my boy Giza earlier today. Want to big up my boy Giza. Don't forget Giza have the best pork and barbecue right there at the entrance of the ferry terminal. Has his bar there as well. So support businesses that support you. And don't forget the good water people there. Island Purified Water. They keep the DJ hydrated when he's in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. Thanks to the man Scatter, Brother Power, his wife, and workers there at the Island Purified Water. Thanks for keeping me hydrated, my brother. I also want to touch my boy Mike there over in the Frigate Bay area. Jamrock Restaurant. Don't forget to support Brother Mike there at the Jamrock. Also, Brother Marshall's up the hill. Too lovely chef. Great cook. I enjoy every bit of the food I eat there. So don't forget to check them out. And tell them DJ Marisha sent you. There's also a restaurant there, the Newtown area, you know, close to the fisheries area there in that side. Elfrido's. I want you to check Elfrido's and tell them DJ Marisha sent you there. I had some good food there. Sister Joyce, Nesta, and Tracy took me there for lunch. They introduced me to the food there and lovely. I also want to big up my boy Django. How are you doing, my brother? I know we have a date, but I know you're a busy guy. Look forward to linking with you at some point. We'll get it together some one way or the other. Got an outstanding meeting with Noah Mills and the man Monarch as well. So I'm looking forward to that meeting. Want to touch my boy Elvis Hazel. Want to thank you for your assistance in coordinating things for Gappy. The man called Francis and crew. Brother Leron. Look forward to everything next week, my brother. We have another week before we get things going. Don't forget all your cricketers that I reach out to. Brother Gary and team. Make sure you guys are available because we're going to put a wackling on you guys next Friday on that cricket field. I have a serious case I'm going to drop on your Gary because you're supposed to be this big batsman that'll make sure that I take care of you. So my good people, I want to big up my uncle there in Garvey's estate, Millhouse Guest House. The man Joseph Emmanuel. I look forward to seeing your uncle. Come and check you out there. See if you have any sea grapes on that end for me. If you want any place to rent for weddings, parties, you want to just take pictures or you want to spend a night, don't forget to check the Millhouse Guest House. You can find it on YouTube. On social media, just put in the Millhouse Guest House and it's right there. Uncle Joseph will be happy to take care of you. My phone is ringing off. My good friend here in New York, Brother Tony Hendrickson, I guess he forget I'm online, but he keep calling me. Tony, I'll get back to you in a bit. So let's drop the unofficial anthem of the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. This one is called Arise. My good people, as usual, you know the music is nice. But I prefer you listen to the lyrics. Lyrically, especially my brother there, the man George Nisbet, someplace around the world. Laureate Wharton, Christopher Williams, Judith Queeley, Steve Mills. Just want you guys to take a listen. Brother Gregory want to take a listen to the lyrics. You know, take a good listen to the lyrics. Brother Thaddeus Deposo, the man Chubby. Justin Stacy Batcher, welcome to the ride. Just want you guys to take a listen to this one. This one is a bummer. If more so than ever, we need to listen to these lyrics now. You know, more than ever. Brother Benter, listen to these lyrics, my brother. It will help you understand what's going on with the St. Kitts Nevis. This one is the late great The King Arrow.
Country dying and never lend a helping hand. Could you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we want people, the other unite us all. Unambitious men just cannot be a part of this community. Displaying selfishness, a total lack of interest. No, I said no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. Can your conscience be clear? Indulging corruption or misusing public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in disharmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother, cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
And that's the sound of the late great, the King Arrow. Brother Benta, my boy Ivor decided he gave me a name tonight, partner. Ivor said my name is NRP DJ Mauricio. But you know, he's not alone with that. Many people call me NRP. And it's funny he said that. I was at the JNF today and someone shouted me DJ Mauricio. There was two gentlemen from Nevis walking towards the exit. And the guy turned around. He said, "That's you? That's DJ Mauricio." He said, "You're NRP, man. You're NRP." I said, "I'm Mauricio." He said, "No, man, you're NRP. You're NRP." You cannot speak your mind in this country. Once you does not support a party or you make your opinion known, they assign you to somebody. But I am a Mauricio in every way, you know, Mauricio all the way. Not NRP, not Labour, not CCM, not Team Unity, not nothing. Just simple DJ Marisha. There's a young lady in line that says she wants to thank the gentleman, which is your Mr. Benter. So a big thank you for your information. You always share great information. This lady, she didn't have the boyfriend. You know, her name is Hazel Claxton. So if you're looking for someone to come to the Virgin Islands, just give me a message after the program. I'll make sure I put you in contact with her. Very lovely lady. Big banner. Lovely looking division lady. So when you get a chance, check the thread, and you could respond to Hazel. But there's some lovely people online. And Brother Benter, when I come here on a Wednesday evening, it's just to be honest and to give the people a fair shake of what is happening in the community. Some might call it cussing. I don't really get into cussing. I just speak and express myself the best way I know how. And at the end of the day, it's not animosity. I have no hatred for anyone. I just start the things them the way they are. So thank you for coming, and come again. And the door is open. Just message me whenever you want to drop in and have a conversation with the DJ.
Thank you. Thank you.